Hi, this is Keith Davidson at Albertson and Davidson. In this video, I want to talk about how do you go about enforcing trust terms. So you have a trust, you've read it, you understand it, and maybe it says you're supposed to receive your share outright, or maybe it says you're supposed to receive a certain piece of real property, a house or commercial property or an apartment or condo. Perhaps it says you're supposed to receive certain personal property, a car, a coin collection, a stamp collection. And for whatever reason, your trustee just refuses to follow the trust terms. So what do? The funny thing about trust is that there are a lot of fiduciary duties placed on trustees. They have a lot of burdens, and you as a beneficiary have a lot of rights. And they're all laid out in both the probate code but also the trust document. Most trust documents tell trustees what they are supposed to do, and all they have to do is follow the trust terms. But for some individuals acting as trustee, this can be very difficult for some reason. Now, you can talk to the trustee, you can try to convince them of what their duties are, you can try to tell them that they should do the right thing. You can try to talk to their lawyer, see if their lawyer can convince them to do the right thing. But when a trustee just refuses to act and refuses to follow the trust terms, you really only have one choice, and that's going to court. And so you file a petition in probate court, and that is a lawsuit, and you start the lawsuit by asking for a number of things. You don't necessarily need trustee removal. Everybody always focuses on trustee removal, which you can do, but there's other things you can do too. So for example, a lot of beneficiaries are suffering from a lack of information. Well, you can ask the court to order the trustee to give you reasonable and relevant trust information. You can also go into court and ask the judge to order the trustee to make distributions. So if you're supposed to receive money out of the trust or stocks or a house and you're not getting it, the court can order the trustee to do those things and force them to make a distribution out to you. And then, of course, you can always ask for removal of the trustee, but that tends to be the hardest part of these cases because you have to bring forth evidence as to why they should be removed. And it's ultimately in the discretion of the court whether or not to remove a trustee. Whereas asking for things like information or distributions, those are much easier arguments because, let's face it, the trust document says you're supposed to receive assets, and probate code says you're entitled to reasonable trust information. Things like bank statements, account statements for brokerage firms, escrow statements if a piece of real estate sold. These are all reasonable and relevant documents that you should be receiving. So those tend to be the easier arguments to make when you go to court. And of course, the best part about going to court is that then you get subpoena power. Once you have subpoena power, now you can issue subpoenas, or your lawyers can, to the banks, to the brokerage firms, to escrow companies. You can go out and get all the information you want and need on your own. You're no longer dependent upon the trustee either agreeing to give you information or refusing to give you information. You have the right to go and get it yourself. So that's probably the biggest advantage of going to court, is now you can act. You can take action to find information, and you can also take action to enforce your rights and stand up for what you're entitled to under the trust. Unfortunately, there's no other way to do it. There's no governmental agency out there who's going to force the trustee to do the right thing. Law enforcement is not going to do it for you. The only way to do it is for you to find a lawyer, go to court, and get what you deserve. Albertson and Davidson is here to help you fight for your inheritance. Check out aldavlaw.com for our complete library of helpful legal videos and articles from your favorite California trust and will litigation law firm, Albertson and Davidson, LLP.